So, what are some of the experiences you had at Rock Hill High?
Well, the one I was telling you about earlier was when I was in the 10th grade. I was in English class, and I didn't care a whole lot for English. So we did things in the class to annoy the teacher. For example, we all would we'd bring a bunch of wood blocks and we put them up under the one side of our desk and up under the teacher's desk, and everybody in the classroom would be tilted one direction. We'd put things in her drawer like dead animals, possums, for example. And we noticed that she was kind of on the edge of some personal problems, so when she would walk around the room and critique our papers when we were writing, we would abruptly reply to her. And we noticed her bottom lip would quiver. And one day I guess we pushed a little too hard, and she started crying and ran out of the room, and we thought it was funny, and she never came back, and everybody in the class failed the class. We had to take the whole course over again. She had a nervous breakdown.
Anything else you can remember?
I remember being in another English class, Mr. Orr, on the second floor of Rock Hill High. The back of his class overlooked the woods and a large parking lot. And we were in class one day, and a disturbed student came running through the hall, ran into Mr. Orr's classroom, jumped out the window, and ran down through the woods. Mr. Orr just kept right on teaching.
What?
Yeah, strange occurrences.
Was there anything like really, really weird out there that happens?
Really weird. No, I wouldn't say so. I grew up in the 80s. And I guess people nowadays probably think it was weird, but to us it was normal. I don't remember any strange things. I wasn't very much of a school person. I kind of did my assignments and went home as quickly as I could, and did as little as I could, and then came back.
Yeah.
I was in the marching band, played the trumpet for all 3 years, and did it. I guess I was in the ROTC for a little while, and I was embarrassed to wear the uniform, so just because I didn't like dressing up, so finally they kicked me out. That didn't go too well. I remember once a friend, Donald Rogers, he and Todd Osborne, myself, and Pat Blue, we were playing around by the library in the back of the school next to the smoking section, and Donald Rogers started giggling and acting a fool, so we duct taped his mouth closed, duct taped his hands behind his back and his legs up there, kind of hog-tied him, so to speak, and we left him laying in the hall. He went to class. Just things like that, I guess.
Yeah. I remember you saying something one time about like a really enthusiastic social studies teacher you had or something.
Yeah, that enthusiastic teacher was actually I was in junior high. It wasn't in Rock Hill High.
Oh, okay. What other family members we had that went there?
Just about all of us. Jenny was the first in our, well, I guess my father, Grandpa, was the first criminal to go to Rock Hill High. And his two sisters, Gloria and Carol. And then, of course, Sister Jenny, she went, I went. And there was Karen, Tom, Becky, Heather, Joel. We all went to Rock Hill High. I think my mom said she carted people back and forth to Rocky Hill High for like 18 years. Jenny was a valedictorian, and they had to create classes for her. And she was, she was super intelligent. And she was a straight A student. Never made anything less than an A, ever. And all the teachers loved her. When I came behind her, they were excited for another terminal. Then about a week or two had passed, and they'd say, "Man, what happened to you?" That's where I kind of came up. So I've been disappointing people for years. So.
But Uncle Tom went there, right? You said.
Yeah, Uncle Tom went there, and he was a trumpet player, and he was in the jazz bands, and he was really good. He even played for Winthrop for a little bit.
I know that.
Uncle Joel used to, when he turned 18, he used to love to go and get my younger siblings out of school. He'd sign them out because he was of legal age. And and of course, your Uncle David went there to Rocky High as well. And just about everybody around here, went to Rocky High.
So how was it with Todd Osborne going through the years?
Todd was a big old rascal. And he's just like he is now. He's just about the same size. He was, I guess, kind of a cowboy type. And he and his brother Greg, Tim Blue, they were all on the wrestling team at Rocky High. They were tough.
I think so.
I didn't play sports because I don't care for sports. Not school type sports. We played in a lot of football games, like I said, with the band. Traveled around a lot. Competitions, but that's about the extent of what I did.
Yeah. Were there any classes that you really particularly liked there that you remember?
No, not particularly. I straight up didn't like school, so I did what I had to do, and then I went home. In my senior year, I only had a half a day, and didn't have transportation home, so I walked home the 8 miles rather than stay for the last 4 hours. If that tells you anything, I didn't care for it at all. Matter of fact, I think during my last year, one thing I had to do to graduate was to write a term paper. So I refused to go to the class because the teacher that was in there didn't care for me. And so I stayed in the counselor's office until they changed my class. So when the time came around that I should have been taught how to write a term paper, I had not been taught. So they put me in another class where I actually literally in the 12th grade read Peter Rabbit and Alice in Wonderland and Paul Bunyan. And when it came time for a term paper, I was able to make a project, and I built a log cabin out of little pine logs I cut out of the woods and put grass on top of it, and that was my project. So that was that. No term paper.
Yeah.
It worked. Victory.
So overall, you didn't like the school, and a lot of our family members and people we know went there. Pretty much everyone around here, you said.
Yep, pretty much for years and years. And it's not. I didn't like Rock Hill High School. Rock Hill High School was fine. I didn't like school. Period.
Oh, okay.
It wasn't the school itself. I was fond of the school and proud to go there. I just didn't like school. Period. I don't care if it was Rock Hill High or Harvard. I just don't like school. So But it was a good school. I guess it was a good experience, but I'm glad it's over.
Yeah. I got one more year to go.
That's not wrong.